Welcome back to another installment of the Natty Teacher. I am, of course, your host. Who else but the Natty Teacher himself? Today's lesson, we got another leg workout, our leg B workout. What are we hitting? Well, more than anything, we are hitting hamstrings and glutes with actually, I know it sounds crazy, with actually a little bit more calves, and then throw in some direct abdominal training at the end. So I'm pumped. We're gonna get the, I like to start usually like with some sort of abductor type movement here, get the glutes and the legs kind of opened up. I'll do some dynamic stretching in between my rest periods while I'm warming up with that particular exercise. Just again to get a little blood flow in the legs and get rocking and rolling and rolling and rocking. So when you see me next, you are going to see me on the abductor machine, getting this booty all warmed up. See you in a sec. All right, so first exercise as already predicted here, the abductor machine. So what we're trying to do here is essentially get the legs opened up. That's kind of the way I like to think about starting with this exercise. What we're doing is we are, really controlling that retraction on each repetition and repulsing those reps out, kind of exploding out of the hole here, the hole being where the knees are closest to each other. And then we're having that brief pause and hold in the fully extended, fully lengthened portion of the movement. Again, really focusing on trying to squeeze, picturing that outer glute, just kind of contracting there. That is the goal here. So again, I really like to start this hamstring and glute session with this exercise. Again, gets everything nice and opened up and warmed up and ready to rock and roll. Gets a nice little glute pump going for me. Some people say this doesn't work the glutes. I found that it works the outer glutes really well for me, so I'm going to continue to do it. If it doesn't work for you, either maybe try a different variation or just don't do it. But it is a good one to start this hamstring and glute workout with. So again, I'm going to continue to rock and roll with it. Anyways, 2 working sets there, keeping the repetitions pretty high. Then we have some lying hamstring curls here. This one we did do 3 working sets of. Again, you can kind of see that I'm not doing a 5-second retraction by any means on the way down, but I am controlling the weight on the way down here, coming out of the bottom hard and making sure we're getting a nice full range of motion. You should absolutely feel those hamstrings burning each repetition. You should feel them go from that fully lengthened position to that fully shortened position. You should feel each and every rep. Okay, so again, this one we did do 3 working sets. I believe the rep ranges here were roughly between 12 and just over 20 reps here. I did drop the weight roughly 20% each of the 3 working sets. So I did a top set, dropped the weight 20%, did as many reps as possible there, and dropped the weight 20% again, and did as many reps as possible there. A great exercise to get those hamstrings firing before we do a bigger movement like the following movement, which is some elevated Romanian deadlifts. Okay, so again, I always like to do at least 1 or 2 movements before I move into anything that is going to put a ton of tension on the hamstrings, like this exercise. Again, those heel elevated Romanian deadlifts. Now, what I found here, and this works really, really well for me, what you're seeing here, by the way, make sure you're not rounding the back on the way down. You want that back to stay as close to as straight as a board as possible. You can absolutely wear a belt here if you want. I did choose not to, but again, we have a slight bend in the knees, controlling that retraction on the way down. You can see that I'm doing like a solid roughly 3 count, coming all the way to the bottom. Having the heels elevated off the ground like this just allows for a deeper stretch. That's the only reason I do that. You can absolutely do this with a barbell. I've just found I really enjoy it and get a really good stretch, and usually can keep my form very consistent when I'm locked into using a Smith machine. So 2 working sets here. Top set, I believe, was a set of 6. And then we dropped down to 2 plates and a quarter and did a set of 10. Then the big glute building movement here. Now, here is the issue that I run into with the Smith machine, and if you do these on a Smith machine, I guarantee you'll probably run into the same issue, okay? It does have a tendency to stop at the bottom, okay? So what I mean by that is you will hit the bottom before you can really get a fully lengthened stretch. So what I try to do is picture driving out of the bottom hard, getting as long as stretch, as far of a stretch as I can on the way down, but really focusing on this movement in particular and squeezing the glutes at the fully lengthened portion there. I should say actually the fully shortened portion, which would be at the top of the movement. So drive through the hips. Again, it's called a hip thrust for a reason. You are thrusting through the hips and then squeeze. Picture those glutes just squeezing and flexing at the top of each rep. Don't pulse and just, let it drop immediately. Really focus on that squeeze and control that retraction on this particular movement. Whether you're doing it with a barbell or a Smith machine or even a dumbbell, make sure that you're coming out of the bottom hard but controlled, and then controlling that retraction on the way down. Don't let the weight control you and whip you around. You make sure that you control it and get the best squeeze and contractions as possible. Then we have some glute hypers. Okay, so some weighted glute hypers. You can absolutely do these with body weight as well. I just have kind of become a little bit more, I guess you could say, advanced at this exercise. I've put a lot of practice into it. What I'm doing here is I'm getting that really deep stretch. You see I'm getting a really deep stretch. You are absolutely going to get a little bit of a lower back pump here. Don't fool yourself. If you're not feeling your lower back, you're probably not stretching far enough. So please don't think this is like a 100% isolated movement where we take the lower back out of that. This is not the case. Oh, hip thrust, by the way, there was 3 working sets, sorry. This glute hypers, we did do 2 working sets, both with a 45-pound plate. Again, what we're doing, getting that deep stretch. And at the top, you'll see me pause briefly. And what I'm doing there is, again, flexing my glutes. So I'm stretching those hamstrings out, stretching the glutes out, and then I'm coming up and squeezing the glutes at the top of each repetition. So we're not just like coming up and then just falling straight back down. We are controlling each repetition and getting the best contraction and best stretch as possible per usual, man. Drop the ego and enjoy getting those deep stretches and feel the burn, feel the pain, get those peak contractions in every single one of your movements. Then we went back to the lying hamstring curl. One of my favorite variations. I think that unilateral work is phenomenal. I really do, especially for a lagging body part like the hamstrings for me. Working in a little bit of extra unilateral work is always a plus. We did 2 working sets here. If you're doing unilateral stuff, my recommendation, unless you feel otherwise, which, hey, try both out. I usually like to keep the repetitions pretty high when I'm doing unilateral work. So you'll see me in this set, I believe I did 2 working sets, both of 15 reps per leg. So again, getting that nice full range of motion, allowing that hamstring to fully stretch out, bottom out, hit the bottom of the movement there, and be in that fully lengthened position, and then come up and fully shorten the actual hamstring muscle itself. Again, this is a great exercise. Arguably, I like this one more than I like regular lying hamstring curls. I think I feel this one just a tad bit more, but I really do love it a lot. It's a lot of fun. So then to get towards the end here of the actual leg portion of this workout, what you're going to see is I'm doing some leg press calves. Again, this time we're changing the rep ranges, though. We did 4 sets of only 8 reps, really loading the calves here. And we are really focusing on that stretch on the way back, allowing the calf to really sit in that fully stretched position and then pulse through. Again, good exercise there. Then to end the actual workout itself, what we have here is some decline crunches, and we're actually going to superset these decline crunches with some captain's chair. So that piece of equipment right next to on the left side of this decline bench here. Now, it really doesn't look like I'm getting that deep of a stretch here, but I promise you that is just the camera angle. I absolutely am lengthening that abdomen pretty much to the, as much as I can, to be honest. So we are trying to keep everything 10 to 15 reps here. I believe for decline crunches, I did everything of at least 15 reps. That is an exercise I am pretty solid at. Again, this is a great exercise for the whole abs, and if you do it correctly, or if you do it in the variation in which I'm doing it, you absolutely can, we'll say, bias the lower abs just a little bit more. Again, great exercise for overall abdominal development. Felt really good. And even some body weight stuff, man. I know I do a lot of weighted abdominal work, but I do like throwing in some body weight stuff from time to time for abs. I think it is really good. Okay. So again, after this, we're hopping right off, no rest in between other than just that about 5 to 10 seconds in, moving from the decline bench over to the captain's chair. We're getting up here and we're doing some straight leg raises. Okay, so trying to point the toes at least just a little bit, and essentially just kind of crunching through with the body, controlling that retraction on the way down. Don't let the feet just drop hard and just bottom out really hard. Make sure that you are getting a nice full range of motion and that you are really focusing on targeting those lower abs. You'll see when it's kind of hard to see with a t-shirt on, but when I actually stretch the legs out, I almost pretend like I'm doing a stomach vacuum, and I pull my midsection in, and then that's when I'll, come back out and explode out of the bottom and, get the leg raise going again. So again, 3 supersets of this, everything between 10 to 15 reps on both exercises. A great way to end an already great workout for sure. So the next time you hear this voice again, it is going to be in a car doing the outro right about now. All right, y'all. Workout is complete. I'll tell you what, man. The learning objective for today's workout was to absolutely go above and beyond and blast some hamstrings and glutes. And I'll tell you, today, we were like the kid who chooses to sit in the front row because he wants to ask as many questions. He's going above and beyond, baby. That is exactly what I wanted out of a hamstring and glute workout just over 3 weeks out from competition. Felt great, strength felt awesome. Got some great pumps, felt really good. And yeah, man, that absolutely is one of those workouts you leave the gym feeling satisfied, no doubt about it. So I got to stop at this Aldi real quick. There's a couple things in my order yesterday that they did not have, so I'm actually stopping at another one, which is coincidentally on my way home. So that works out good. So I got to grab just a couple small things here, and then we are home. Tomorrow is a little bit different. I hope y'all choose to join me again, because tomorrow I actually do not have any training, so it will be a full-blown rest day vlog. Okay, kind of just hanging out with the family, kind of running you through a little bit more about my personal life, all that kind of fun jazz if you're interested, and going from there. So join me tomorrow, and for today, that lesson is complete. I am the Annihilate teacher, and school is out. See you guys tomorrow.